We are here in Ao Nang, Krabi, Thailand. It's hot. It is about 1 p.m. and let's close out this Phuket week with 3 lessons that I learned so we can move on. We're just gonna sit here and chat with you. 3 lessons. First one, incentives. The second one, discomfort. And third one, energy. The first one, also, this is gonna make a lot more sense if you, also, sorry about I bet the noise is pretty bad. All the cicadas, I'm sorry, and the wind noise. It's okay, just skip this video. This is gonna make a lot more sense if you read my blog post or watched some of the previous videos. But anyway, the last week in Phuket was like all about attention and women and strip clubs. That pretty much sums it up. The first one is I was getting a lot of attention from women just in general, partially in strip clubs. I went to 5 nights over the 10 days I was there, and walking by pretty much every Thai massage place, all the ladies out there, look, it didn't happen every time, but it was at least 70% of the time, 75% of the time, the women are oohing and eyeing and grabbing my arm and touching my shoulder and chest and eye contact and all of that good stuff. It's fun, but what I realized was, and the lesson that I learned was that everyone there that I interacted with, pretty much everyone there that I interacted with, is incentivized to get your attention. In a strip club, it's literally their job to make sure you have a good time and give you attention and make you feel good, basically, while you're in there and not uncomfortable. And so it is their job to hold your eye contact and come over and talk to you and all of that. And with all these Thai massage ladies, it's they just want you to come in and get a massage with them. And it's none of the ones that I went by are any kind of erotic massages. It's just literally their job. And so I think that framing for me was important, because it's this was an elevated level of attention, and there's a reason for that. And I think remembering that for me is important. And what I wrote in my post was I'm just imagining going back to the US or Europe, walking around, running, doing whatever, and not getting as much attention like this, people not holding my eye contact for a long time, that kind of thing. And I just know that I'm gonna be what's changed? And it's they are not incentivized financially. It's not their job to get your attention, So I thought that framing was important. The second one was discomfort. On Friday night, there's so much context that you need. It's I went to the same strip club multiple times. I tried to talk to this one girl, but long story short, tried to tip her. She wouldn't accept it because of this guy that the customer that she was with. And so I went back on Friday night, and specifically that process of thinking about going back, this is the 4th time I would have gone back and did go back. And I was just getting up all in my head about, is this too awkward? Is this too weird? Is this too creepy? like I feel so uncomfortable going back, and it's going to be so awkward because all of the, like 80% of the girls that I talked to remembered me and were like, wait, I've seen you before. Have you been in here? You've definitely been in here before. And I'm like, yes. Yes, I have. You are correct. But I had this open loop that I wanted to close, which was to interact with this girl who I had great energy and a great smile. And I started to notice that I was like starting to put her on a pedestal of like, oh, this is the only woman in there that like I want to talk to. And so like now she has all the power basically, and I feel really uncomfortable, and like what is everyone else going to think about me? And basically all of this just culminated in feeling incredibly nervous and uncomfortable to go back. And I started to realize all of this was born out of pursuing the discomfort of the environment. And so I thought, well, hold on. The reason or the fact that you feel uncomfortable with this framing of like we're doing this because we're pursuing the discomfort of the situation. So the fact that you feel uncomfortable is actually good and should be the reason why you go back. And so I felt this like conflict dilemma of like, I want to go back, but only for just to interact with this one person. And I feel incredibly awkward about like everyone else. But that should be the reason why I go. And it ended up not working out in any way that I wanted it to, which is okay. But I am glad that I went. I'm glad that I closed the loop. And the lesson that I learned and the reframing and the perspective shift that I had was that the fact that I feel uncomfortable is the reason to go. Like, that's not the barrier. It is the reason to go. And I'm not going to sit here and claim like I'm an expert at pursuing discomfort and I can do everything and anything, uncomfortable socially. This is just like one moment, one story, one piece of evidence, and I'll build up my evidence over time. But anyway, I feel like that learning is applicable to many different regards of life. The last one, energy. I noticed that in my experience, 5 nights going out, there were girls that had great like energy and fun, and they looked like they were enjoying and having fun and playing around and smiling and laughing, and there were girls that looked like this was just another day at the job, another day at the office, and they were just working basically. And I started to notice that like the people that I wanted to interact with were the people that girls. I'll be clear here. The girls that I wanted to interact with were the girls that had the fun, playful energy and looked like they were having fun. And I couldn't help but think like I acknowledge that this whole industry and area is and can be a big gray area, but just making the observation that like to an extent you get what you put in. I think that was the idea. I don't know if it's 100% applicable here, but I think it's applicable more. It was making the observation, thinking about the idea, and then realizing that idea is applicable to like just life in general. And it reminded me of when I was in Bali. The people there were so friendly and nice. Everybody smiled. Everybody was super respectful. Like everyone was so helpful. You go to any restaurant and they're like, "Oh, how can I help you? Like, what can I do for you? Do you need this? Do you need that?" And whenever I said like, I started to learn and change my behavior to the point where like I would leave a restaurant and genuinely say like thank you and goodbye, not just like a thanks, that kind of thing. And it wasn't until I flew to Singapore, which is like this big corporate city, financial, everybody's just there to work basically. And the energy of the people that I was interacting with in Singapore was completely different. I was like, you go to a coffee shop and they're like, what would you like? Oh, coffee? It's like, okay, here's the total. And it's like, wait, hold on a sec. Like, what happened to the whole, like, everybody's super friendly and smiling and everybody's family? And when I started to leave and say thank you and goodbye, it just felt weird. It felt like I was putting in more energy than they were reciprocating, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. But I think you get the idea. And so I think this is a reminder to myself. I mean, all of these are a reminder to myself that like you get what you put in. And so I think if you approach life and whatever situation with this mindset that like, I'm just gonna have a positive mindset. I'm gonna smile. I'm gonna say thank you. Like I'm gonna respect these people like they're my family. Then like maybe you get more out of it. Maybe they reciprocate that energy. I don't know. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Place is insanely beautiful. Insanely beautiful. Anyway, that's what I got. 3 lessons from Phuket past week. I put some more in my blog post. But yeah. See ya. See you tomorrow.